Dr. Angela Migowa. I'm a pediatric rheumatologist and assistant professor at the Department of Pediatrics and Child Health at the Aga Khan University Medical College East Africa. I'm also the National Vice Chair of Kenyan Pediatric Association and currently the President of the Pediatric Society of the African League Against Rheumatism. And my motto, mantra is to help promote authentic living. Angela is a young, optimistic Kenyan lady. I'm very proud to be African. Very passionate about finding solutions for problems that afflict us. I'm a strong believer that the solution of people's problems are with the people themselves. If only we take time to ask them and listen to their needs, most of the problems we face, we can find solutions. I said I'm a promoter of authentic living because I believe we're in a world where there's a lot of expectation placed on us, whether it is self-imposed, whether it is because of the context in which you live in, and that is pushing people to chase things that are not realistic or worth pursuing. And in that quest, in that chase, you run the risk of losing yourself. So I'm really passionate about helping people know their purpose. And I strongly believe when you discover your purpose, you are unstoppable. You're unstoppable. It's not to say it'll be easy. It's not to say that it'll be a walk in the park. No, there will be challenges. But even when you're in those challenges, you somehow you have the grace and the strength and the focus to soldier on, because that is what you have been ordained to do. You know, when I started doing my medical training, if you asked me what I'll be, I said I was going to be an expert treating adults with cancer. I was clear. Then in my internship, I realized adults are just not straightforward. You know, somebody has a headache, but they fought with their boss, that's why they have a headache. And you know, you pump them with all the medicines on the planet, the headache is not going away. So I just found that, you know, that demographic is really difficult to deal with. But I found children are really honest. What you see is what you get, you know. And even when we treat them and manage them, when you get the diagnosis right, you see it. And when you don't, you actually just see it. So I ended up choosing to specialize in treating children purely for their honesty. Yeah, honesty and transparency. You know, even when I was coming back after I finished my fellowship, my third degree, many people were like, open up a clinic and you know, you'll be able to make quite a lot, which is true. But and that's why I was talking about, you know, people who've had a role in my life. My mentors in Canada, where I trained, were very categorical, and they said, Angela, if you want to have impact in what you do, you would need to go over and above just seeing patients. It will be important for you to pass on the skill to your colleagues, and that's where the element of teaching comes in. And also it will be important for you to generate knowledge to help inform policymakers to make the right decisions for this group of patients. So as I was looking for a place to come back and work, fitting into Aga Khan was actually a very simple objective, because I knew there I have the opportunity to offer clinical service, I have the chance to teach, and also the privilege to join my colleagues in the scientific world to generate knowledge to inform policymakers. And this research agenda is something that I'm happy the government is making strides to support this. Of course, Rome was not built in a day, and we know there are so many competing interests. But it's a very noble agenda because research is really the quest for the truth. And when it comes to matters that pertain to life, you need to make decisions based on the truth. And failure to do so has serious negative ramifications and impacts. And it's not a secret, across the globe with this pandemic, there have been certain leaders who've made certain statements that are contrary to the truth and have had a negative impact. So Aga Khan University Medical College East Africa and Aga Khan Hospital then gave me that platform to do all those three fundamental pillars: offer the clinical service, teach, and do research. A lot of my childhood life in education was actually in Nairobi. And I really thank my parents because they were present for me and my siblings right from nursery through and through to university. And then I was fortunate to get a scholarship to do my master's in pediatrics at the Aga Khan University. And I'm really eternally grateful for that because it's at Aga Khan University, then my mind was opened to other possibilities in medicine, such as rheumatology. While in my second year, I had the privilege to encounter rheumatologists who were in Canada. I'd actually met them when I was doing my internship. And in my third year of my master's, I came across a child with lupus who died when I was on my night duty, and that completely shattered me. And I remember reaching out to this Canadian rheumatologist to ask, I'd like to know more about lupus. And that's when she said, "Are you interested in pursuing this as a specialty?" And I said, "Actually, why not?" And then she connected me to the McGill University, the Department of Paediatric Rheumatology, and there I then applied for a scholarship. So I was fortunate to be awarded a scholarship by the university through the Canadian government to study this field of medicine. And I remember before I went, one of my supervisors actually came to Kenya trying to scout and see if we train you, where will you go back and study? And many people told her, "Oh, those diseases don't exist. We don't need this kind of specialty." But she made a statement for me which was very profound and which I still hold dear today. And she said, "Angela, if we will train you to even save one life, we will do it. Even if we pour all our resources and you only save one child, we will do it." And that for me was so profound because these are foreigners willing to invest in me to come save children in my country, my continent, when other people within my working environment might not have seen the value. And that's why I don't joke with my work and my advocacy. Because there are people who could see ahead, even when people within my circles could not see ahead. And as time has shown, the burden is great. Rome wasn't built in a day, but we are happy we have started the journey. I think for me, the fact that the government of the day and the leadership of President Uhuru Kenyatta declared universal healthcare as a pillar, for me, that's a big gain. Because the principle of universal healthcare is that nobody should be impoverished in pursuit of health. So, the minute you state that, then it has a ripple down effect. So, where are the areas where people are spending so much money that they're leading to poverty? So, like I know now that women involved us in trying to decide which are the essential drugs that should be available, and I know there are discussions going on there. For me, that's a big gain. I've had informal discussions with people at the Ministry of Health on how we can incorporate screening tools within some of the handbooks. Okay, for me, the fact that that conversation is starting is a big gain because before it was never on the radar. So, as I said earlier, Rome was not built in a day. We must applaud the steps that are taken. Can much more be done? Of course, but we have to be cognizant of the competing economic and health interests also, so that we set down realistic goals. Because when you're promoting change, the secret is to have quick wins that build the confidence of people, that will motivate them to aspire for a greater goal or a greater objective. Yeah. I I don't think I thought much about it. I think it's in high school that I thought, it's when it dawned on me that I want to do medicine, because I realized I like interacting with people. So I didn't want to be just behind a computer. And then that's when the idea of medicine then came up. So it was in high school.
In high school?
Yes. I think the first step, very important, easier said than done, is to first you need to know yourself. Be cognizant of your strengths and your weaknesses. And when you are aware of that, then you reach out to people who can help you overcome your weaknesses and bolster your strengths. One of my coaches tells me, everyone can be a winner, but very few can be champions, and champions have coaches. So when you know yourself, then you know who to reach out to for help. So first, endeavor to know yourself. Second, when you know yourself, then it is easier to discover what is your purpose in life. Okay? And discovering your purpose in life takes time. How do you know what is your purpose in life? Many ways. One of my coaches, Dr. Patricia, tells me the thing that hurts you most, that drives you to find a solution, therein lies your purpose. Other philosophers that I have read their books say that the thing that gives you peace, the thing that gives you joy, therein lies your purpose. Okay? Once you've known yourself, you've discovered your purpose. The third thing, very important, stick to your lane. Just because everybody is going to be driving a BMW, it doesn't mean that you need to buy a BMW. Yeah. You stick to your lane, and focus on your purpose. And remember, above all, when you focus on lifting other people up, my parents always tell us, invest in people, you'll never go wrong. When you focus on lifting other people up, there's a ripple effect. They ultimately lift you. And resources to sustain your upkeep will not become a problem. Because the focus now is not you anymore. You'll be content with what you have to live a comfortable life. And I think that's the advice I would give. Oh, I catch up a lot with friends. I love catching up with friends. I love music. I love dancing. I love watching movies. And I also value quiet time where I just refocus. Because there's a lot of noise around us. And sometimes I find you cannot hear your purpose when there's too much going around you. So I use my weekends for quiet time to catch up with friends, to catch up with family, and to renew myself for the coming week.